want to try to ground myself a little bit before I start this. Hello, Benjamin. How are you, babies? Little Benjamin. Or Benny. Hello, Benny. Alright. We'll see where this video goes, because never truly know. Well, I know what I've been feeling, and yes. You're Benny. Hello. Adorable. Yes, you are. Oh, you're going to be a sweet kitty. You know, part of me says start the video over and get rid of this. Yes, honey, that's my hands moving. To get rid of this blank spot, but I think it's good to leave it there because it's important to ground. It's important to be in the body and give that reminder. Or to be both. Out and in at the same time. Alright, kids. I'm going to put you down because you're going to be distracted. Go play with them. Yes, drink some water with Zeppy. Alright, so I've been feeling into some energy of my past Atlantean lifetimes. They've been coming up. You know, I think I haven't ever really shared the experience. I shared the, I think it's been at least more than 7 months ago from now that I think I made that spontaneous video where I had that spontaneous remembrance and got to film it. You know, I was just sitting in the chair. I was actually I was meditating all morning, sitting there actively allowing, however you want to call it, and I come inside after probably an hour or two of that and sitting there just watching TV or something, just taking some deep breaths and kind of just trying to get myself back in the body. And that's when I felt a rush. I didn't know exactly what it was. I just felt, you need to go turn the camera on. It was there. It's still outside. Just film this. And so I did, and it was that Atlantean lifetime. I was kind of almost in a trance in a way as I remembered it. That last Atlantean lifetime. I saw imagery, there was a lot of emotions that came up, and it was almost kind of felt like a channeling in a way, but a channeling of that lifetime. But I haven't really ever talked about it. I think if you watch it, you probably get some bits and pieces, but you know, it took me, 7-8 months now, I would say, to really fully understand it. Or, well, let's put it this way. I love the way the Lord puts it. There is no end point. There is no, I'm forgetting the word for it at the moment. There is no point of completion. And even that Atlantean lifetime, I won't say I completely integrated it or understand it. I don't. It's a growing thing. It's an evolving thing. It's a beautiful thing. But at the time, I did my homework, as Laura was asking people to do at the time, to go write it down. And I did sit there and I felt into it. I wrote a lot of it down. I even felt into parts I didn't see in that kind of trance remembering. I even I tried to go into before. No, I actually didn't go that far after. I was kind of curious because it kind of starts at a point right before the flood starts, and there's a whole storyline before that. So that was a lot. I felt it was a lot harder because it felt like I was pushing and trying to pry into it, and I felt a lot of, because of that, I felt a lot of resistance. And it became foggier and more murky and harder to decipher. So at some point I was like, okay, I need to step back from it. Stay with it. And the story kind of there, but every time I tried to feel into it afterward, it was always kind of foggy. But the only thing that stayed clear and really present was the emotions of that lifetime, which was not very comfortable. It was frustration, it was anger, betrayal, just there was a lot of sadness and remorse, and there was a stubbornness in it that was so stubborn and uncomfortable. Just take a moment to ground. I can feel myself lifting out, so I want to make sure I want to be present for this one. Really present. Mm. Oh. Sorry, I'm just looking at one. One of the kittens I have is, it likes to stay by the space here. It sleeps. It's been eating and drinking, but it doesn't play. And so I'm kind of very worried about this kitten. So I'm just kind of looking at it. It's also had some crusting of the eyes. I keep having to clean its eyes out. So it might be a little sick, and I'm just worried about it. So I'm just seeing it there. I'm like a little baby. I don't want to mess with him too much. A little cutie, yes. You all right? So just, it's very grounding, isn't it? But also having not just worry, but compassion. All right. So let's get back to the atlantean lifetime. Well, it's like, curious where this is going to go, what we're going to talk about, because a lot of things came up, and when I make these videos, I don't talk about everything that comes up. It's kind of, I let it kind of flow naturally and see where it wants to go, what wants to come out. So we're going to go back to the first atlantean lifetime first. We'll go there because there's one thing each of them have expanded in different ways. Because I have remembrance of 3 lifetimes, and I wonder why I remember these 3. And it kind of, because they tell a story put together. I would say the first lifetime that I remember is, you could say, I think it's my original awakening. I would say, because for the longest time it was the first one I ever felt into. This was before I even found Crimson Circle. And I was just starting to dabble, and I was playing with those ideals from Doris Cannon. Is that her name? Or that QHH, quantum hypnosis healing therapy, I think they call it. That idea, but I never went to a therapist. I just saw what they were doing. You just get relaxed, you open up, but really it's all this hypnotization is. It's just a way of getting you to relax. And then you open up, then you just go with it, and you ask the first thing you see, you ask the first feeling, and you just let it kind of flow. At first it's kind of choppy and it's difficult, and it's probably easier to do with somebody else. But, you just played around with it a few times, and then it started happening on its own at that time. Because after you play with it, you kind of open the door for it, it kind of starts flowing, and it comes in its own little pace, and it'll just happen spontaneously. But it's one, that's when I had the memory of I had a few past lifetimes come up that way. No, most of them not very interesting. I can tell you about the time I was a woman and I was married to a potato farmer. To me, it was a very interesting lifetime, but but I don't know if it makes for a great video. But that would probably be one of the most vivid, other than this last Atlantean lifetime. That one came into a trance. That one was a very vivid lifetime. I saw a lot of it. And I would still say there's things to explore in that lifetime to understand about myself. But we'll get back to the... so the first one was very spontaneous. I don't remember exactly how I brought it. I don't remember if I was trying to do it. I think I was probably at the time thinking about Atlantean's lifetime. And usually I'd probably do it right before I went to bed. I would lay down and just breathe in bed and just open myself up and feel and see what came. A lot of times it was nothing. Yes. Okay. She said, Mama, I need milk. I don't like the canned food Daddy buys. Okay. So it came up pretty spontaneously, and it put a sour taste to Atlantis in my mouth. I didn't really know anything about Atlantis other than something the New Agers all talked about. Atlantis, Atlantis, oh, we all need to go back to Atlantis. And when I had that one, it put a sour taste in my mouth of Atlantis. That's why I say it was my awakening in Atlantis. It was my realization that things could be different. Because at that time, I was a low-level priestess, a female in that one. And I had a job. I don't see this. I can tell you what I saw in it, but the imagery, I don't ever trust it. It's kind of metaphoric. But supposedly, I've heard Edgar Casey talkings about this, so I would say it might be what they call the one-eye stones, but I'm not 100% sure. But there was these different what I saw were these big egg-shaped like stones. And when you looked inside them, I saw geometry, and I saw almost like gears, but I don't think they were really there. It was kind of more just, there was this movement of energy or something within them. Didn't really understand, but my job was to make sure they stayed like a note, like a tuning fork. I was a tuning fork for them. I had to go around the city, kind of like a meter maid, and check and make sure their vibrations weren't going one way or the other. They had to be stable. They were kind of like an energy grid or some sort. I don't fully understand the Atlantean technology, so I don't really like to ever talk about it. It's one of the things I used to stay away from because I felt like I was an idiot talking about it because I don't really understand it. I don't know the full history of Atlantis. I've looked at it a little bit, but to me, it's like everything else. It matters who you go to. It's all over the place. It's different people's opinions, different people's perspective on it, different people trying to modernize, humanize it from what it actually was, and so it gets all kind of muddy and icky if you start researching, at least for me. So I kind of I look at it, okay, it's kind of like that, and then I just walk away from it, and then I'll let it be what it is. I don't feel like going into that tar pit of all these different opinions about it. So I'll just say, okay, this is what I saw, this is how it felt to me, and I don't know how accurate I am about the technology there. I don't know what it looked like, because, in my vision, one vision I saw it looked like ancient Greek. Another vision, it looked like modern-day New York. They're just imagery, symbolism, my mind trying to take it. Doesn't really matter what it looked like, what the buildings look like, architecture, any of that shit. That's really good. But so there was these, we'll call them the two-eye stone. One-eye stone or two-eye stone? I can't remember now. If you're an Edgar Casey person, you'll probably know better than I am. I think it's one-eye stone. Or something. That's at least what I feel, it's something of that nature. That's all my job was, that's why I say it was like a fucking priestess, low-level meter maid. That's all I did every day. I walked around the city. I go to these things and make sure and feel into them, make sure they weren't left or right, that the vibration it was almost like tuning a guitar every day. Just making sure it's in tune. Dun, dun. If I had my guitar here, I'd do it. Well, I do. But I'm kidding. All right, but it's like plucking a string energetically. That's what my life was. It really just did that every day, and then it was a boredom. And that's what I feel in that lifetime. It was just boredom, and like then there came a question: why can't I do more? Why can't I do something else other than this? That was this longing just to break out and do something. Which this is your job. This is what you do. You're born into this. It was very hierarchical. It was very like, this is what you're supposed to do. You do it. Don't ask questions. Don't think differently than anybody else. This was kind of like that lifetime that was an awakening for me. I can't say the word I'm wanting to say. But disconnect with Atlantis, with the structure of it, with being unhappy about it, and feeling helpless, feeling there's nothing to do about it because it's just what it is. And I think that is one of the things that carried on into the other lifetimes of my time in Atlantis, an unhappiness with status quo. That leads me to the second lifetime that I remember. I'm guessing there was lifetimes in between, and there was even ones before. But I trust the important ones are what comes up. That's what naturally I don't need to go searching for all the other ones. They're probably more of the same. We're looking at the the highlights. Sorry, I'm just checking on the kittens. We got some playing, one drinking on mom. Baby, I'd feel so much better if you had some almond milk. With the other mom, baby. He's fat and chubby. He just doesn't have any energy, and that just concerns me. When all the other kittens are jumping and playing and climbing, he just wants to sleep all day next to the heater. I've seen him drink water, but I haven't seen him drink from his mama. We'll see. Okay, we'll get to the second lifetime. Now, this is the lifetime I think I've talked about before, was the lifetime of rebellion. This is, I think before I talked about it, it felt like a slave revolt. In a way, that's what it was. I was a slave. I was going deeper into it. As I think originally when I talked about it, I said it was like slave revolt, and there was a revolt, and we took over, and then we did horrible things to people. We tortured them. It's very sadistic, some of the stuff we did. And my question is, why did I do it? What made me so angry? Was it just being a slave? And it's like, well, in a way, I was in a group of people being, grab myself real quick. We'll see. The kid will pull through or it won't. At least it's still fat and chubby, but that's a good sign. It just might have to go through a little sickness. It's past the really dangerous, the 4-week mark. It's probably almost close to 6 weeks old. The others there's 2 litters. One litter is about 6 weeks. The other litter is about 8 weeks. They're about 2 weeks apart. We already lost one kitten in the first litter, but that was very early on. It just never grew. Yeah, it was like half the size of the other 2. It was a litter of 3 kittens, and one of them just never grew. It was feeding, it was eating. It was the runt. It was like half the size of the other 2, and just one day it passed away. Ooh, that's not grounding. What is? If you feel it, if you allow yourself to feel it fully, without judgment, without being good or bad, right or wrong, it's just See, I don't know. Much more grounded feeling. Now, we'll get back to that story. I was being experimented on by some, I guess you would call them the headbanders, but I don't know if this was before the headbands or, but it was the Atlantean scientists trying to improve things, and they were pretty nasty at it. I did have a memory come up since then of an actual experiment. That one I haven't sat down and wrote down, and it's still kind of airy and feel more emotional. I probably won't talk about that today just because it'd be very ungrounded. Just let's say I wasn't happy about it, and I didn't like it. The energy behind it was controlling somebody to control somebody else. It was like a chain of control. So I have scientists control me to hurt somebody else. That would be the experiment in a nutshell. I could go in details about it, but that's it. And the anger I had for being forced to hurt somebody else is one of the things that caused me to really enjoy hurting those scientists when we did the rebellion. Because it wasn't like we rebelled and took over a city. It was more like a prison revolt. We took over the prison. We were still in the prison. We never escaped it. But we were in charge of the prison. And so we had hostages. We had the guards. We had the scientists. And so we decided to take their little experiments and do it back to them. See how they liked it. But we didn't do it for any good cause or anything of that nature. We did it just for the enjoyment of torturing the scientists. I don't feel any of us made it out of there alive. Eventually, the castle was stormed, as they say, and the revolt was put down. We didn't do it to escape. We did it just to fucking hurt some people who hurt us. That's a big, there's a big forgiveness in yourself and to those scientists that has to take place in that. More rounding. Da, 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 da. I'm feeling that's very important at the moment. All right. So that was that light. I don't know if I need, it's kind of, I think it's pretty much, yeah. I hurt people because they hurt me. You can see there's that unhappiness waking to this structure of Atlantis the way we're doing things isn't working, to really seeing that it's not working, that it's causing this pain, and almost a hatred for Atlantis in that. That's probably why I've always been like these people. That's why I haven't studied Atlantis. One of the things, I just didn't care about it. I never did. It was never important to me. I didn't like the place. I still don't like Atlantis. I think it was a fucking shithole. In a way. I'm like, I did not have the best lifetimes there. I'm sorry. Maybe if I never had an affiliation with the temples of Tien. Never have, or even, the Shambra. I was never considered, I loosely considered myself Shambra, just being a member of Symbolism Circle, but the actual Shambra group, nothing. I've never had an affiliation with it, never had an attachment to it. The temple, every time Adamus would bring up the temples of Tian, I'm like, I feel nothing for it. Not good, not bad, it's just indifference, in a way. It's like, it sounded like a place. I was never there. I was never one of the highborns in those lifetimes. If I got captured, they weren't going to cut my tongue out. I was just going to fucking get killed. Yeah, I was not a highborn in Atlantis. Even my last lifetime in Atlantis, when I looked at what I was before the fall of Atlantis, I was a clerk. I was a librarian. You could say it was almost kind of an important job because in Atlantis, information wasn't shared freely to everyone. Being a gatekeeper of information. Maybe I shared information with people I wasn't supposed to have. Maybe I was a bit rebellious in that lifetime. Told things people weren't supposed to be told. Gave out sensitive things to certain groups. Things like that, because, I had distaste for Atlantis. I played the part in public, but, behind the doors, like, oh, how did that book get there? Oh, you were picking that up? Okay. Very sly on the, that was my rebelliousness in Atlantis in the last lifetime before. Because the last lifetime is the one I had the most, I had the most details. It's the fall to finding a sanctuary. That's where most of that lifetime that I remember is what I remember. I don't remember a lot before that. I've gone into it, felt a few details here and there, but a lot of times it doesn't seem that important at the moment. It may come up later. I'm always open to it. Like I said, there's no been there, done that. I think the story expands as you integrate parts of it and accept other parts of it. It kind of frees up the energy to move about more. And it'll come up spontaneous one day, and you're like, oh, fuck. Oh, I get that now. A little expansion here, a little expansion there, kind of thing. So, not one of the things I feel I need to go chasing. But in that last lifetime, that lifetime has the most emotional. I mean, even the rebellion lifetime, where I killed a bunch of scientists or tortured them to death with a smile on my face. That one I don't have that much. I never felt that one was that stuck. Because that one I was like, they deserved it, fuck them. And I understand, they tortured me, I was pissed, and I just did it back to them. It was a stupid game. I wouldn't do it again. That's fine. To me, it feels a lot more. Now, I'm open to feel deeper into it, but it's at the moment, I don't feel anything. It was a lifetime. Now, the last lifetime is where, because, right now, this is the last lifetime and a last lifetime. And I see so many more parallels and so much more in these two lifetimes, that last Atlantean lifetime and this last human lifetime. For myself. It's like the combinations of all those lifetimes coming back together. And there's certain things in those lifetimes that I had to really go deep with, because I had a lot of anger in that last lifetime. A lot of anger. I felt betrayed deeply, and ultimately I felt I was forced to do things I didn't want to do again. After that, because that's a sensitive subject, being previous lifetime, I remember being forced to hurt people, being forced to do something I didn't want to do. So you can see there was already a wound there. So it was very deep. But this time I wasn't being forced to hurt other people. I was being forced to take the lead, to take a charge, at least into my part of the story of the fall of Atlantis. And I did not want to do it. Maybe because I already led a revolt once and didn't turn out very well. I got revenge, but then got my head chopped off, or whatever the hell they did with me, I don't know. Afterwards. However I died with a smile on my face. Got to kill a few scientists. I'm sorry if you're one of the scientists, but karma bit you in the ass. I'm sorry. It had to come back for me a few times too, as well. I'm sure. If I look deep into my lifetimes, since then, there have probably been a few times that's reared and kicked me in the ass. But I'll get over it. If we can't laugh about it now, what the fuck? How many thousands of years have it been? We gotta be able to laugh about it, At some point, you got to be able to tell a joke about it. I like to meet one of those assholes I killed. They can say, "Oh yeah, man, I used to fucking research and do things to you. Oh man, I really like cutting your head off." Whatever it is, get fucking over it. Oh, but that last lifetime, it was a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and it wasn't about. I wasn't angry that the world was falling apart. I wasn't angry that Atlantis had to fall or whatever. That to me, when I feel into the falling of Atlantis, what that lifetime that person thought about it was like, it's going to happen. It was going to happen sooner or later. It's just, it's that person's, but that person did not like Atlantis. Did not like that the community and the structure that we had built. Had no did not like it at all for a very long time, and was very glad to see it fall into the fucking sea. He didn't care if it took the whole world with it, almost. To wash that place away to that lifetime would have been fine. I don't feel any sentimentality from that. Anything that was lost there, good riddance. That's how that lifetime feels. Very stern, very stubborn, very focused in a way. That lifetime. A lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of pretense. I hear kittens. No. And that's really what I had to, the emotions of that lifetime is really what I had to dive deep to. There's a sense of betrayal. What I remember from that lifetime, for some reason, I'm just going to say it as I remember. I don't understand why or how on some of the things, but I'll just say it as I remember it, or as I remembered it, and as I felt into what emotions and things came up and things of that nature. Give me a moment. Because, was that like being distracted by Ellen. Ellen, what you doing, baby? You scratching the wall? Okay. Is that fun? You really enjoy it? Okay. As long as you're enjoying it, that's all Daddy can ask. But that lifetime starts... well, at least the remembrance of that lifetime that I remembered starts with the right before the city was going to fall. For some reason, I was with a group of people who knew it was going to happen. I don't know how or why we knew this. All I knew is there was a knowingness it was going to happen, and then somebody coming down and saying it's happening right now. It's starting. And there was a plan. I think that we had a plan to get people out of the city. Or, when I say the city, it wasn't the city of Atlanta. It was a city. I don't know any of the names of these cities or where they were or anything of that nature. Where was Atlantis at? I don't fucking give a shit. It was where it was. Is it? I think people have different theories, and some people think there was a bunch of different cities all over the place. Pick one. I don't care. That's where we'll say it take place at. I don't really care. It just never came up. But there's somebody came in and said it's time, and we had a plan of getting evacuations started of some sort. And in these evacuations started, the weather started turning a little bit here, things started going, and some people who were in this group I was with, most of them, freaked out, and they decided to take a boat out of the city filled with most of the children of the city. Even though we were told the water wouldn't be safe, they're like, water doesn't look too bad. It's the quickest way out, or so whatever. I don't know. I wasn't with them. They didn't consult me. And most of them went out there, and I assume they drowned and died in the storm that came, leaving me to fucking take over the plans of evacuating the city, which I was very unhappy about. I did not want to be a leader. I did not want to lead these people out of this city. I was unhappy about it. Previous leadership of revolting didn't turn out well for me. By 2 times of leadership that I remember. You know, went a little bit crazy the first time. Should have brought some water. So that was so right now it feels very light airy. I'm like, oh, I want to really get across the anger and the frustration I felt by this. And it's kind of hard because I'm like, oh, airy fairy feeling. I'm like, well, no, let's ground it. I want to feel the anger. I felt it a bunch already, but I really want to express it. I really want to say I was fucking pissed. I felt betrayed, deeply betrayed, stabbed in the back. I was left with taking these people up a fucking mountain. Which, god damn it, was difficult. Not because of the mountain itself. The mountain, yeah, was hard enough to climb, but the fucking goddamn Atlanteans, getting them to fucking do anything, was goddamn fucking like pulling teeth. It's what it felt like every moment, every goddamn foot we made up there was like I had to pull one of my own teeth out. The frustration of it. They're like, you know, let's go back. It doesn't look that bad. Let's go back. Oh, maybe we should do this. Blah, blah. It was excuse after fucking excuses. And we're like saying, no, we have something to do. We're going up there, and we can't stay there. You know, it's like being betrayed over. Like, no, this water isn't safe. We can't take boats. And then people getting on fucking boats. And just like, why won't anybody listen to me? Why won't anybody fucking listen? You know, there's a plan. Why don't we follow the fucking plan? It's that simple. You know, that's the frustration of it. And it's just like everybody wanted to stop and like have committees. Everybody wanted to stop and talk about it. Wanted to do their fucking rituals. So no, we need to stop and do a ritual here and do this will help. And they're like, no. What will help us is getting on our fucking feet, being practical about it, and getting up this goddamn fucking mountain before the water gets here. I saw people sit down and fucking drown. Over and over again, people giving up. Oh, this is difficult. This is hard. I'm like, well, try swimming in the fucking water. It's going to be way fucking more difficult. And at some point, I think I just stopped. I said, I'm going up this hill. I'm not stopping for anybody else. I'm not stopping for any committees. I'm not stopping for any questions. We're just going to get on our feet. We're going to walk. If when I get to the top, you're with me. Great. If you're not, I have compassion for you. Fucking drown. And that's the end of what happened. So we left with I feel a whole lot of people. And when the time we got to that topic, there were very few people made it. So many people drowned that didn't need to drown. It was frustrating as fuck. I really understand what she's talking about, this headband problem. Working with fucking Atlantean minds are goddamn fucking crazies. It's like, God, motherfucker. I think that's why I got so angry when I first found Sarah and I saw what she was doing. It's like she's pushing people up a hill, saying, all right, this new energy is the new flood. If you don't fucking move with it, you're going to drown in it. If you get caught in all the drama that the new energy is bringing up, like in Atlantis it would have been the storms, volcanoes going off, the wind, whatever the fuck, the fucking tidal waves. If you get lost in that fucking shit and don't just get on your feet and walk up the goddamn hill, you're going to drown in it. And I see I understand her frustration and why she's so adamant about it. And I see it. I said, been there, done that. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole again, at least at this moment. So I understand completely. Oh my God. It's like, at some point, part of me feels, did I fail? There were so many people, I left with so many people and made it to that mountain with so few. Part of me looks like, did I fail? You know, did I take it too personally? Could I help more people? At some point, I had to say no. At some point, yeah, I had to cut. I had to say, put that boundary, say, I'm going. You can come if you like. Great. If you don't, fuck off. I don't give a shit. If you want to drown, you fucking drown. Do your fucking ritual. Have your committees. Do your fucking whatever the fuck it is you want to do, I'm going up the fucking hill. That was the hard part of that. Like, that's where right now it feels very light and airy. I'm all fucking out of my head. But usually when I felt into that was the hardest part of the story for me. That pain in there. Walking up that hill, just seeing people. You know, in the visuals that I got, it was just seeing people carrying luggage and even people carrying arm walls on their backs trying to walk up this hill. You're like yelling, drop it. You don't need it. You know, if you see the flood as, you know, I see the parallels as this. That flood made everything. Okay. Don't bite too hard, baby. Kittens learning to fight. But Daddy, she wants me to bite her on the neck. I don't know if she really does. She seems to kind of run away from you. Alan, do you need Daddy's help? Is Benny being a little too much? Is Benny being a little too much, baby? We can say hello. This is Ellen. She's a sweetheart. Hello, Ellen. Yes. Yes, you're a sweetie. All right. I'm going to put you back down. You want to go here or do you want to go down? All right. Leave you on the lap. Let me know if you want out. Okay, where was I at? Trying to ground myself probably with these kittens. So that was part of me that was very angry and pissed off. I was put into a position of leadership I did not want. I did not ask for. Then I had to fight tooth and nail just to get up a fucking hill with fucking assholes. Let's put it that. From his opinion, they were all asshole fucking idiots. I'm gonna just call it. There's forgiveness now and understanding now, but from him, he didn't use those words, but he had disdain for those fuckers. That's why, like, when I feel to that light, I don't know if I want to meet that person. He was angry as fuck and frustrated, and after being what he felt was being betrayed, he was very not trustworthy. He didn't trust other. Now he not that he wasn't trustworthy. He didn't trust other people. He kept everything very close to himself and didn't tell everybody everything, or much more quiet person afterwards. You know, he wouldn't take your word for it a lot of times afterwards. You had to prove yourself. See, well, there's more to that life, because after getting up the hill, there's, you know, the world going to shit kind of thing going on. Storms and stuff. You know, met a group of priestess. Finally found a cave or underground area, that kind of place thing. And another scar from that lifetime was taking an oath of, you know, this is, you know, what came in the vision was the words, I think, what was the words? Until the will is broken, until that will of karma is broken. Until we break karma, we're going to come back and we're going to work together. And this is what I believe all these different groups chose to do. We're going to be incarnate. We're going to do it with intention. We're going to do it with awareness that this is what we're doing. This is kind of what the oath was. The oath was really, this is our intention. This is what we're going to do. We're making the intent that we are going to dissolve this wheel of karma, this creation that it was brought into Atlantis, this falling of Atlantis, till we break it. That's what comes to me, taking that oath, and you know, I remember telling the people who even the survivors, the little survivors that we had in our group, telling them, if you don't want to take this oath, you need to leave your bodies. You have to die. Because the energy we're going to be working with here, if you stay here, you're going to be pulled into it. There's a gravity to it. We're creating this gravitational pull that's going to pull us intentionally into these type of lifetimes, over and over and over again, until it breaks free, till we break it, in a way. I feel even there was those who decided to leave their bodies. I don't think it was a lot, but there were some who did. Just feeling if there's anything else I want to add to this right now. I think that's going to be it. Just double checking. Going to that emptiness and just feel that void and just feel anything that wants to pop out at the moment. Anything that wants to come out. Is there anything that needs to be in this video that I haven't talked about? I don't feel anything, so, you know, whatever it is would be for another day. Oh. I'll just say, this is how I see things at the moment. Because like I said, this is not an end point with this story. I'm still feeling into it. I'm going to be seeing, because now that I've got here, this moved a lot of energies of it. You know, right now it feels, ooh, happy. was that silly enough? Happy. I don't think I've ever done that before. Okay. So I'm curious to see what will come after this. Because that's the only thing, when you release one, you're not done with it. You're like, it'll come up throughout the day. Maybe it'll be emotions. Maybe it'll be a settling. Maybe it'll be a new confidence. Maybe it'll be like, oh, that's opened up. Now, if you open that doorway, it allows other doorways to open in a way. You know, I guess really one of the things that's been coming to me is like the new energy, the new light coming is the new fucking flood. It is the flood. It's a parallel to Atlanta. It's happening right now. The storms, the rain, it's already coming. Are you going to get up that mountain to higher ground? Or are you going to drown in the mud, in the old energy? That's kind of what's happening right now. That's, you know, that's what it's a parallel. Everything is coming back again. You can just feel it's kind of musical in a way. Very. I don't know. I'll probably just screw it up talking about it at the moment. Leave it simple. So it's like, as this new light, all this new energy comes in, just see it as the flood. Are you walking up that mountain? Are you waiting for someone to fucking pull you up? Because at some point, no one's going to pull you up. Someone, you know, Laura can only pull someone up enough. At some point, she has to get to higher ground herself. Even myself, I've already done it. I don't feel like doing it this lifetime. I just have no interest in it. Maybe that could change, but at the moment, it's like, I'm walking up the hill. Anybody want? I'll see who was up there when I get there. I don't give a shit. In that way. I hope you make it. I hope you could decide to get on your 2 feet and just walk up. It ain't that difficult. Just breathe, allow, and feel. That's all you gotta do. Be curious, be open. Breathe it in. Be grounded. Relax. I'm going to do what Dom says. Relax into it. Because really, that's what you do. That's how your nervous system is going to relax. You have to relax first. And the nervous system will follow suit. It doesn't matter what's going on. You know, you can get distracted by all the storms. Who gives a fuck if Trump wants to invade and take over Greenland? I don't give a shit. He can do it with whatever he wants. Everything's going to change. Even if he did it, it won't last. Everything's going new. Everything, you know, what happened? You think everything didn't go new in Atlantis? It did it. No, it was a much more physical way. You think there was any government left in the way that it was before? Any religions were left in the same way? Was any of the social structures left in the same? No, everything changed. Everything changed. And those who refused to change, those who held on to their old baggage, wouldn't walk up the goddamn fucking hill, they drowned. It's that simple. Let it go, move on, shut the fuck up, and just walk up the hill. You know, I'm being a little bit blunt about it. But, you know, I think I've gotten to a point where I don't give a shit. I can be very blunt. This is something I would not have done months ago, a month ago, even. Been this blunt. I'm watching myself, I'm observing myself at this moment just to see how fucking blunt I am. Do it or don't do it. Other than that, shut the fuck up. I don't care. That's the way I see it. I have the compassion. If someone asks for help, I would be willing to do it. Give them a hand, but if they're not willing to stand on their own feet, I'm not going to fucking drag anybody. I've done that, been there, done that, will not do it again. I know how painful it is to do that. I know every person who drowned in Atlantis was capable of walking up that hill, or that mountain, or whatever the fuck it was. They were able to. They had the potential in themselves to do it. They just chose fear instead. They chose to be scared about what was outside of them instead of just getting one foot in front of the other. Sanctuary was waiting. They just never made it because they didn't have faith in themselves, faith that we would find safety, so they just gave up. I don't know. I have compassion. I said, if that's your choice, do it. If not, fuck it. Go up the hill. Doesn't matter. I don't see anybody made a right or wrong choice in that. I absolutely don't. I'm not angry anymore. Oh, that lifetime was very angry. But he was imbalanced and wounded, and he had a lot of pain and stuff he didn't know how to deal with. That took all these lifetimes since then to just heal that pain of Atlantis. Baby, do we have to do that? Daddy's making a video. But Daddy, I need to sharpen my claws. That's Mama Cat making that mess. I got a case over there for a musical instrument and it has a fabric on it. She's cool. Alright. I think I'm going to leave it there. It's a very fun video. I was going to say, I was like, this is something else I never do. Hey, see you later, alligators, I guess. Alright. Y'all. Don't take things too seriously. I'm curious how serious I'll take this. That's something I get to feel. Like I said, these videos are all always, because when I get to these videos afterwards, I get to feel all the energies I get to let out. I'm like, oh, I would have said that differently. I've done that differently. Not really a judgment, but kind of feeling into it and say, oh, I see there's an imbalance there. I see there's an imbalance there. It's kind of a way for me to get all that imbalance out and into a way of experience. Kind of Loris talks about, we take it into life. In a way, this is, I'm taking it into a camera, but, somebody's watching it. But there's that energy that comes up in the interaction. That's why I've been loving to go to work lately. It's just that interaction, that energy of going, there's kind of kind of feeling of playing with that, an opening to that. And I see every time I do it, I say, there's more shit I got to clear out. I get to see that now. There's that atlantean wound that keeps me from doing this or that. That's going to be interesting. Let's go fill and play with that. That's why, been there, done that. I still got some fun things to go through. So, go through ours till I go up. Maybe it's both. I just can't seem to end this video today. Alright, namaste. See you later, alligators. Oh yeah, I'm just going to turn this off.